Good morning, everybody. We're going to be talking about perpendicular lines in lesson 3, and we are focusing on page 18. And when we are talking about perpendicular lines, what we are talking about is two intersecting lines or line segments. So let me demonstrate for you rather quickly what I'm talking about here. When we talk about perpendicular lines, we can talk about two lines that intersect. Boom. Right here is that intersection. Where they intersect, they basically cross each other. And perpendicular lines are lines in which that make a 90-degree angle. Okay? Now, what we're supposed to focus on is these right angles that are created. There's a right angle here, and a right angle here. Okay? But what we're going to focus on is right angles that we see, perpendicular lines, and how to identifying these perpendicular lines. So we have to identify them. So I am going to rewrite this perpendicular line, and I am just going to make a right angle. However, this is going to have points here, and this is point A, point B, and point C. We need to represent and tell somebody that with these points and these line segments that there's a perpendicular line there. So how we would do that? Well, we would say AB with a line through it, BC with a line through it. They are indeed perpendicular. And this means perpendicular. And it means perpendicular because guess what? We have right angles right there in that perpendicular line. Okay? So what you're telling me is that line segment AB and line segment BC is perpendicular, meaning that it's a right angle. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And you can kind of see in our first problem, A, they've already done that for us. So we're going to zoom in on these first couple problems. And we're going to try to get as many right angles as physically possible for each line, okay? So for each line segment. So they've already done AB and BD. However, we can easily we have a right angle right here, correct? So we can say that we have line segment AC and then line segment CD, and we have a perpendicular line right there, okay? And you can see it right here, boom and boom. So boom, AC, CD, and they are perpendicular, okay? Now, are there any other perpendicular line segments here in points? There is. There is CD and DB. So CD, right? Boom. And then DB. Boom. And that is making a perpendicular line. Is there another one that we can find out? Well, I have one here, right? We have CA and AB as perpendicular lines. All right, so we have all of the different combinations that in which have a right angle for A. Now, let's go on to B and see if there are any perpendicular lines or right angles here. So going on to B here, we need to see if there are any right angles. And so far, there are none. So from what I see, that's not a right angle here. That's not a right angle there. That's not a right angle here. Nor is this. But I don't think this is a right angle either. So there are no right angles for B. No perpendicular lines. However, for C, there is some perpendicular lines. There is none here. There is none here, but here is a perpendicular line where it becomes a right angle. So we have something to work with here. Okay? We actually have EF and EG. So EF and so we can go, yeah, we can go FE, sorry. FE is a line segment, and then EG is a line segment and they are perpendicular. D, it's circular. There is nothing perpendicular here. This is not a perpendicular. This is not a perpendicular shape. So it has no right angles whatsoever. Hi, Miss Guillory. Yeah. So this geometric shape, this oval does not have any right angles, so we have nothing to worry about. All right. So what I would like for you to do on these next couple shapes here is identify where those right angles are, and then identify where the points are, and we can begin labeling those points and identifying the perpendicular lines. So I'm going to begin with E here, and I definitely know this is definitely a perpendicular line, and we're going from AW. Sorry, my line is awful. AW to WF. Why is that so bad? All right, sorry, that's as best as I can get. To AW. God. So that's going to be AW to WF. And they're both line segments. That means that they're both perpendicular. All right, so you're going to give me all of the different right angles on E. Okay. Now, what's great about F and G is there are no perpendicular lines in F. There just aren't. We can immediately cross that off because there's just no perpendicular lines. I mean, this is a perpendicular line. This is a perpendicular line, right? This is a perpendicular line. And there just aren't, there is none. So F, we can easily deduce that it's just not going to work for this lesson. So F and this triangle is not going to work for us. G isn't going to work with us for this either. We don't have any right angles here. So G is not going to work at all as well. So we're left with E and H to finish for today's lesson. So find the right angles, okay, and label and identify the perpendicular points and line segments. All right, everybody, have a good one.